Canadians, Americans, members of the Commonwealth, and patriots the world over. Welcome to the show that tells you what they won't, exposing the fake news, conspiracies, and corruption within institutions that govern our lives, and red-pilling the nations one fact at a time. It's Weathering the Storm with your host, Canada's Red Pill, Billy Joyce. Good evening, folks, and before I get started tonight, I just want to let you know that I wish every single father out there a very happy Father's Day on this Father's Day weekend. The reason I haven't done a show in a few days is because I was traveling on meetings. Because of the nature of the videos I do, I've been advised that maybe I shouldn't advertise prior to traveling. I guess I'm not as secure as Field McConnell from Able Danger, but at the same time, I try not to advertise too much when I am traveling because too many crazies out there. I was away for 3 days on business, and we made a family getaway with it. So we had a great weekend, and then when I got back, I went to have some supper with my father, and we chatted and caught up on everything going on in life, everything going on in the world, and reminiscing on old stories. And now here I am, a full, basically since Thursday, so Friday, Saturday, almost a full 3 days since the Inspector General report came down on the Hillary Clinton email, the handling of the Hillary Clinton email scandal, and leading up into the election in 2016. Now, what's important to retain about this Inspector General report, and I'm surprised that no one, and I mean no one, has been mentioning this, is that this report was only on that topic matter. Okay, so when the Inspector General starts working at this, whenever it was that he started working at this, he has to give it from a perspective, almost like an operational perspective. The Inspector General is not there to prosecute. The Inspector General is not there to tell us about crimes. The Inspector General is not there to tell us in plain words that there are crimes being committed, because let's say there were investigations going on. We know that John Huber, Jeff Sessions announced that John Huber had been hired to work with the Inspector General. Now, if there's an investigation going on, or even if there are indictments, the Inspector General would not be able to put that information in his report if it's part of an ongoing investigation and if it's evidence in an indictment or in a case, if that makes any sense. Now, there are certain things that were mentioned in this Inspector General report that for some reason are not being mentioned by the mainstream media. Now, one of them is plain as day as to why it's not really mentioned or in the mainstream media, because what it says in the report, it doesn't go into details. It kind of just gives matter-of-fact-ish. It doesn't really name people. It doesn't say what kind of information the FBI gave. But one reason the mainstream media is not talking about this is because it involves them. And ironically enough, what the Inspector General report says is, in addition, we identified instances where FBI employees improperly received benefits from reporters, including tickets to sporting events, golfing outings, drinks and meals, and admittance to non-public social events. We will separately report on those investigations as they are concluded. So you see there are investigations going on there, consistent with the Inspector General Act and other applicable federal statutes and OIG policy. And then, of course, the Inspector General goes on to describe what kind of harm leaks can cause, or fear of potential leaks. The harm caused by leaks, fear of potential leaks, and a culture of unauthorized media contacts is illustrated in chapters 10 and 11 of our report, where we detail the fact that these issues influenced FBI officials who were advising Comey on consequential investigative decisions in October of 2016. The FBI updated its media policy in November of 2017, restating its strict guidelines concerning media contacts and identifying who is required to obtain authority before engaging members of the media, and when and where to report media contact. We do not believe the problem is with the FBI's policy, which we found to be clear and unambiguous. Rather, we concluded that these leaks highlight the need to change what appears to be a cultural attitude among many in the organization. Yes, it seems like it's a criminal culture. covering up one another's seeming crimes, is the way I'm going to put it. I'm trying to, get some advertising dollars from YouTube, so I want to choose my words carefully, but still try to convey what it is I'm telling you. Why wouldn't the mainstream media be reporting on the fact that amongst them, there have been people paying in one way, shape, or form FBI agents to leak information. Now, just recall how many times over the last 2 years, before President Trump was president, think how many times you heard on the mainstream media, because really the only ones that aren't mentioned in the WikiLeaks, because WikiLeaks came out with a rather long list of journalists that seemed to be in bed with the FBI and in bed with the deep state. And in that list, you don't really find anyone from Fox. And I'll put some screenshots up on the screen for you of the list that Q put into the QAnon, and I mean, you can go verify this on WikiLeaks as well. I'm just going to show you the list from Q because it's very precise and it is verifiable from the WikiLeaks documents that came out last year. So just wonder, every time we heard something that was coming out, or President Trump even saying that there's stuff coming out on his conversations that he's having inside the White House and stuff like that. I mean, now we know what was happening. It looks like the media was paying off these journalists, or the media was paying off these FBI agents or whoever else to give them information that they weren't supposed to be getting. And it says not just FBI, but other officials. I don't know, make of it what you will. But now we know that the media has their hands dirty. And depending on what kind of information was leaked, and depending on what role the media was playing in influencing the FBI, it could be as bad as sedition. It could be as bad as treason. Wrap your heads around that. Media, not a word about it. Now, another thing that the media is not really emphasizing, especially not here in Canada. Now, in Canada, everything I'm telling you in this video, I don't think you've seen anywhere in the media. So unless you've read the Inspector General report, you probably don't know this because it hasn't been reported yet in Canada, it seems. I've looked, can't find it. Now, my dog is trying to get some attention because, of course, I was gone for 3 days. So we had my wife's son, so my stepson, watching him. But, of course, he's a big sookified sookie, and he just wants loving now because he hasn't seen me in a couple of days. So while I try to tell you what's going on, Barack Obama, if you'll remember way back when, Barack Obama decided that he'd tell everyone that he had no idea that the Hillary Clinton emails, the private emails that she was using, existed. Basically, he said on live television, you can go look it up, he said on live television that Hillary Clinton's private emails, he had no idea they existed, and he learned about it the same way we did through the news. He said this. Well, according to the Inspector General's report, it says FBI analyst and prosecutor too, because the Inspector General report was stomped on and edited by none other than Rod Rosenstein. It says FBI analyst and prosecutor too, because they had to remain unnamed because we don't want to know what swamp creature that may be, told us that former President Barack Obama was one of the 13 individuals with whom Clinton had direct contact using her ClintonEmail.com account. Obama, like other high-level government officials, used a pseudonym for his username on his official government email account. The analyst told us that they questioned whether Obama's email address, combined with salutations that revealed that the emails were being exchanged with Obama, or other information contained in the emails, were classified, and thus sent the emails to relevant USIC agencies for classification review. However, they stated that USIC agencies determined that none of the emails contained classified information. Now, whether they contain classified information or not, Barack Obama said that he had no idea Hillary Clinton had private emails, but he was sending and receiving emails from her. And Trump's the liar. President Trump is the liar. Barack Obama's the saint. because that's the way the media portrays him. And they're still portraying him that way because they refuse to tell us that he lied to everyone. Now, the third thing that it seems no one wants to talk about in the mainstream media is probably the biggest bombshell. And I'm going to pop it up on the screen. In September of 2016, the FBI's New York field office, New York office, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York began investigating former Congressman Anthony Weiner for his online relationship with a minor. A federal search warrant was obtained on September 26, 2016 for Weiner's iPhone, iPad, and laptop computer. The FBI obtained these devices the same day. The search warrant authorized the government to search for evidence relating to the following crimes: transmitting obscene material to a minor, sexual exploitation of children, and activities related to child pornography. The AUSAs provided written guidance to the case agent about how to handle review of the laptop. In a September 28th email to the case agent, and the SSA AUSA 1 advised that the case agent should review only evidence of crimes related to the sexual exploitation of children, enticement, and obscenity, and instructed the case agent that all emails and other communications between Anthony Weiner and Huma Abedin, even if there are other parties to the communication, should be sequestered and not reviewed at this time. The case agent agreed and responded that the only emails I will review are those two from Weiner accounts to which Huma Abedin is not party. I guess that's because they're husband and wife, but what I retained out of that is only evidence of crimes related to the sexual exploitation of children, enticement, and obscenity. Do you remember one of the videos I did a while back on what was on Anthony Weiner's laptop? Now again, this is just mentioned like this in this report because this report has to do with the emails. It has to do with the Clinton emails. And if there is a criminal investigation going on those things, on the exploitation of children, enticement, and obscenity, he can't put it in here. The Inspector General can't put the evidence of any ongoing investigation into this report. Now, there was another agent of the FBI by the name of Coleman that told the Inspector General that he regularly took notes in a journal. Coleman's notes from October 4th contained the following entry. 1. Anthony Weiner, SIC. I read that as Anthony Weiner, sick. And it applies, even though it's not spelled the same. 2. Unrelated. 3. Now, he specifies 2 is unrelated. The rest seem related, right? Weiner, sick, texting 15-year-old sexually explicit. 9/26, federal SW, iPhone, iPad, laptop. So federal search warrant. Initial analysis of laptop, thousands of emails. Hillary Clinton and Foundation, crime against children. Again, go look at some of my past videos. Go look at some of the titles of my past videos. Go look at some of the stuff that we've been talking about. When you go through this Inspector General report, and you've got what's odd is that Rosenstein stomped on this. Rod Rosenstein, what everyone got last Thursday was this watered down version of what the Inspector General probably actually wrote, because the Inspector General still answers to Rod Rosenstein, who's the Deputy Attorney General, because Sessions recused himself from anything having to do with Russia and anything leading up into the Russia investigation and the election. And this was related to the election because of the email scandal and the way the FBI treated it and the way Comey announced the reopening of the investigation. And although they didn't find any bias on Comey's part in the way he did things, political bias, well, when you look at the FBI, some of the people in the FBI and the leadership at the FBI, Peter Strzok and this Page one sending texts back and forth saying, we're going to stop Trump, we'll stop Trump. It's basically admitting that that's the definition of a coup. That's what a coup is, when you try to stop someone from being duly elected by the people. And they're admitting to it. So even in this heavily redacted report, you've got an FBI agent taking notes and saying federal search warrant. A couple of videos back, remember when I said that Anthony Weiner's search warrant had been, unsealed? It basically it had been sealed. Do you remember how Schneiderman was the attorney general in New York? He got fired not that long ago, or actually he resigned because of what? Sexual assault charges. People accusing him of violent sexual crimes. This same guy, that's who would have had to actually prosecute if they had actually looked into these things and found crimes against children. He's the one that would have had the ability to seal it. And then someone comes along last month and unseals it. And now we see mentioned inside of the Inspector General report, in the very same paragraph, initial analysis of laptop, thousands of emails, Hillary Clinton and Foundation, crimes against children. Why is the mainstream media reporting this? Why was I able to spend 3 days in meetings with my family, away from the media, away from all this, and still able to come back and talk about this stuff and have it be breaking news? Not really breaking news, because if you read the report, you already know what I'm talking about. But if you're living in Canada, I doubt very much you saw anything on the news about this Inspector General indicating in an official government report that the words Hillary Clinton and Foundation were found right above crimes against children. Has anyone even mentioned that? You'd think that'd be newsworthy. You'd think someone in the media would want to report that. But they don't. You want to red pill people? Show them this report, because everyone who watches my videos were probably disappointed with this report, this IG report. Anyone who's in the Able Danger chat group, the Discord group, anyone who's out there really following truthers, this Inspector General report was probably a disappointment. But you got to go looking at the details in there. And you got to remember that in order for President Trump and Jeff Sessions and all of them to not appear like dictators, they got to do things by the law. They got to do things by the book. The Inspector General has one role, but John Huber has a completely different role. And when that guy's, you see, the thing is, when John Huber puts his report together, it's going to be more than a report. It's going to be indictments. He's going to go after the criminal aspect of all this. The Inspector General already clearly demonstrated these breaches of policy and breaches of protocol. People are wondering about Peter Strzok. Why has he lost his job? Is he singing? Is he ratting out the people that told him to do what he had to do? Andy, maybe? Jim? I don't know. There's lots of high-ranking FBI folks. I'm just curious why none of the 3 topics I've mentioned are really the big thing. Why isn't CBC talking about it? Why isn't CTV talking about it? Who's paying them off? Why are they covering it up? Why are they not talking about it? Show people you love this video. Show people you love the Inspector General report that I'm going to put in the description. And if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do that as well. If you like the videos you watch, please like them and share them. And if you're only starting to watch the videos on my channel, go back and watch some of the other videos that are done, because you're probably going to learn something in that'll relate to videos that I'm doing later on. Because it seems that a lot of the stuff that I was talking about a long time ago is now happening. It's now coming out in the public. People can no longer say, well, Barack Obama didn't know anything about Hillary Clinton's private emails. Yes, he did. It's proven. It's the Inspector General. It's not Russians. They can't blame a Russian bot this time. They can't blame Russia. Okay, the words Hillary Clinton Foundation, crime against children in the same document. They can't deny it. The FBI taking bribes and private parties and this and that from the media. They can't deny it. The media can't deny anymore that they were working dirty and doing dirty work. They can't deny it. It's right there, black and white. Inspector General, not a Russian. I'm done now.
If you enjoyed this video, you may want to take a look at other videos you find on this page. Don't forget, if you like it, push the subscribe button under this video, and feel free to like and share with all your friends. Follow me on Twitter by following the link on this page. If you want to interact, feel free to post a comment, but please, no obscenities. Thanks for watching. Billy Joyce signing off and reminding you that I'm here to help you weather the storm.